This is Tina Douglas, and you're listening to the Liam Photography Podcast with your host, my husband, Liam Douglas. Enjoy!
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Liam here, and this is episode 491 of the Liam Photography Podcast for the week of January 29th, 2026. In today's episode, Halide Mark III from Lux, a photographer finds 70-year-old film in a $13 secondhand camera, a Kodak Apparel Pop Up in Hong Kong, and more. So let's go ahead and head on over to our first story for this week. Lux, the makers of popular iPhone camera app Halide, have launched a public preview of the Halide Mark III. While Lux is offering just a first look at Halide Mark III right now, it has taken the wraps off a huge new feature. Looks. Halide Mark III's initial reveal arrives about 5 years after Halide Mark II, which introduced an all-new design, improved raw image capture technology, and more. In the years since, Halide Mark II received many significant updates and transformative features, including a very impressive new image processing pipeline called Process Zero in mid-2024. Process Zero uses no AI and features no computational photography, promising truly natural-looking iPhone photos. There are two new looks. The first is Zero Process 2. This updated version of the acclaimed Process Zero promises major upgrades, including HDR support, the ability to use it in night mode, and the option to use it with Apple's ProRAW photo format. Process Zero 2 promises more vivid and realistic images, still without any algorithms or computational photography. The upgraded engine also adds tone editing support, letting photographers recover some of the shadows and highlights they typically lose when using Process Zero. However, for those worried this will make Process Zero photos look more like regular iPhone shots, Lux says the results will be, quote, much more subtle than iPhone's native camera app. The second new look is called Chroma Noir, which is built on Halide Mark III's new analog-inspired film engine. Quote, over the last 3 years, we took a deep look into the details of analog photography that gives it its charm and emerged with an original film simulation engine, Lux explains. To showcase some of its powers, we're launching our first simulation, a black and white look we call Chroma Noir. Chroma Noir promises a unique blend of modern imaging technology and lo-fi old-school charm. The look works with HDR, which Lux says, quote, really works, despite sounding like a contradiction. Of course, HDR can be disabled. In fact, the film simulation that gives Chroma Noir its distinct old-school look can be turned off as well, leaving just a very nice black and white photography mode. Today's Halide Mark III is just the first step in the full Mark III launch expected later this year. As its developer explains, this is just a taste. There will be a new design, way more looks, and much more coming to Halide Mark III. The app's complete set of looks is being developed by colorist and image scientist Colin Kelly, who has performed color editing and grading on Oscar-nominated films and high-profile projects for HBO, Netflix, and Apple. Kelly also has a YouTube channel dedicated to the art and science of color grading. Halide Mark III's looks are in excellent hands. iPhone photographers can get their hands on Halide Mark III's first preview right now by clicking the free icon inside the Halide Mark II app. The public preview and final version of Halide Mark III will be available to all Halide subscribers and anyone who purchased Halide Mark II. Subscribers start at $19.99 annually or $59.99 for a one-time purchase. And this is definitely some exciting news. I know the Halide camera apps are extremely popular for iPhone photography, and there's a lot of iPhone photographers and content creators out there that love to use their app. So it is great to see that they continue innovating and adding new looks to each generation of their software. A photographer was stunned to discover that a vintage camera he bought at a charity shop still contained undeveloped film holding photographs taken in post-war Switzerland. The amateur photographer purchased a 1930s Zeiss Icon Baby Iconta camera for $13 or €10 from a second-hand charity shop in Wilton near Salisbury, Wiltshire, in the UK. The camera appeared ordinary at first, but once home, the photographer, who asked to be anonymous, realized it still contained an exposed roll of film. Inside the camera was a roll of Verichrome Pan 127 VP film from 1956, which had never been developed. Unsure whether the film could be saved, the photographer took it to a camera specialist, Ian Scott, at Salisbury Photo Center, a Fujifilm retailer, to see if anything could be recovered. Scott tells Petapixel that the film was carefully developed using a Rodinal developer at a ratio of 1 to 100 over 60 minutes with no agitation. The process revealed a series of 70-year-old photographs showing an unknown family and skiers in Switzerland, including images taken outside the Badritz Palace Hotel in St. Moritz. Several of the skiers are wearing numbered bibs sponsored by baby milk brand Cow and Gate. Scott says the individuals in the photographs have not yet been identified, and Salisbury Photo Center is asking anyone with information to come forward. Because Verichrome Pan 127 film was only sold starting in 1956, and because the Cow and Gate ski trophy took place across Switzerland during the 1950s, Scott believes the photographs were likely taken later in that decade. In a further interview with the Daily Express, Scott calls the discovery of the decades-old photographs, quote, an exciting mystery. Quote, the exposed film has been inside that camera waiting for someone to unearth it for maybe 60 or 70 years. It's so incredible that history was literally sitting there on a charity shop's shelf, Scott tells the Daily Express. Quote, it's just amazing that we've been in there 60 years and nobody has seen them, not even the photographer who took them. Now we take pictures on a digital camera, you see it straight away, but these were just lost. Quote, it does make you wonder what other sort of treasure troves are hidden in the camera in a shop waiting to be developed. And I thought this was a really cool story, and I do agree 100%. As I've mentioned before on this show, I have found some really cool photography gear and cameras, lenses, bags, all kinds of cool stuff at thrift shops and antique shops and stuff like that. And I've come away with some really incredible stuff that ended up being worth considerably more what I paid for it at the time. Kodak has found success licensing its brand to fashion and technology retailers, notably the Kodak Camera, a tiny keychain camera made by Rito, was in demand last year. In October, the film photography company collaborated with Reebok to make some Kodak-branded sneakers, among other clothing, and last summer, Petapixel reported on how there are at least 123 brick-and-mortar Kodak Apparel stores in South Korea. Now Kodak Apparel, a South Korean clothing brand officially authorized by Eastman Kodak, is continuing its push in the Far East. A pop-up store in Hong Kong has just opened. Time Out reports that the large 2,500 square foot store is located at Airsdale and Kai Tak. Footage taken from inside the store shows a retro-themed store where the Kodak-branded sweatshirts, t-shirts, and baseball caps are permeated with Kodak motion picture film canisters, 1950s-era televisions, and Kodak disposable film cameras. As mentioned above, it is a pop-up store and won't be around forever. There are currently opening offers, including keychains, stickers, and shopping bags if the customer spends over a certain amount. Visitors can also enjoy 3 Korean-style photo booths, a receipt printout booth, a high-angle booth, and a classic Kodak-themed booth featuring a selection of vintage frames. Customers who spend $500 in-store and follow the official Instagram account at kodak.style.hk can receive a complimentary set of Kodak stickers with the option to purchase a limited edition shopping bag for just $1 more. Those who spend $800 will receive a retro Lightbox keychain, while higher spending unlocks gifts of increasing value. Kodak Apparel started in South Korea and is part of a broader trend in the country called Nutro, which literally combines new and retro. CNN, National Geographic, Lockheed Martin, and Discovery are other U.S. legacy brands that have become popular among fashionistas in Seoul. The stores don't just sell garments, they also offer luggage, sunglasses, and less obvious items like paint, solar panels, power generators, and flashlights. The Kodak Apparel store in Hong Kong is located at Shop 102 1/F Airside 2 Concord Road, Kai Tak. So definitely something you may want to check out if you're in Hong Kong. You can see this Kodak pop-up store, but again, it will be there only for a limited time. So if you want to get some cool Kodak swag, now is the time to get over there and pick it up. A trail camera captured a grizzly bear walking in the Bangtail Mountains of Montana, the first official documentation of a grizzly since modern recovery efforts began 50 years ago. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks confirmed the sighting after a trail camera on Custer Gallatin National Forest land captured images of a single subadult male grizzly on December 17th. The camera was set up by a member of the public. WFP officials say the sighting is notable but not unexpected. The Bangtails lie near areas with recent grizzly activity, including a similarly sized bear seen traveling along the Yellowstone River near Livingston in the fall. Other recent sightings in the broader region include a grizzly documented in the Shields Valley in 2023. Quote, "It's pretty common for bears to be seen late in the fall," FWP spokesperson Greg Lemon tells the Montana Free Press. Quote, "While bear activity is much lower over the winter, there's always a chance there are a few that are out," end quote. Montana Free Press notes that the Bangtail sighting is part of a broader pattern of grizzlies expanding into areas of Montana where they have not been regularly documented for decades. Benjamin Alvapali, a columnist for Explore Big Sky, says that two main grizzly populations, the Northern Continental Divide ecosystem and the Greater Yellowstone ecosystem, are pushing to the edges of their range, and that it's a matter of time before the two populations become intertwined. Intrepid bears, such as the one seen in the trail camera photo, have to cross I-90, a four-lane interstate where they must risk speeding vehicles. Some are struck and killed. FWP continues to emphasize that Montana is bear country, with grizzly populations becoming denser and more widespread. The agency urges residents and recreationists to be prepared for encounters anywhere in the western two-thirds of the state. Recommended precautions include carrying bear spray, traveling in groups when possible, making noise to avoid surprising bears, and avoiding attractants such as animal carcasses. And it's really great to see that a bear was photographed in this region after none had been seen for 50 years or so. And it's also fantastic that they're starting to bring back the population of natural grizzly bears in Montana, getting them repopulated and getting their numbers to increase. Conservation of our wildlife is definitely something I have always wholeheartedly supported, especially as someone who enjoys wildlife photography myself as more of a hobby. I mean, I have made money doing it, but mostly it's a hobby. And I'm going to take a short break right here, and then I'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Liam Photography Podcast. You can visit the homepage for the show at liamphotographypodcast.com for show notes and links. You can post your questions, comments, or requests for future episodes at the Liam Photography Podcast Facebook group, or you can also email them to the show at liamphotographypodcast.com. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at LiamPhotoATL. You can tweet the show, just insert the hashtag LiamPhotoPodcast. And now, back to the show. And we are back. Under remote night skies, Tom Ray captures the cosmos and landscapes in breathtaking detail, revealing a world both unseen and unforgettable. Ray's surreal and immersive astrophotography transforms the wilderness into experiences of awe and wonder. Tom Ray discovered photography at the age of 12, beginning with landscape photography as a way to express creativity and tell stories about the world. What started as a hobby quickly evolved into a serious creative pursuit, eventually leading him toward professional work in astrophotography. Ray was fascinated by how his camera could reveal things invisible to the naked eye, a quality that continues to define his approach. Quote, photography for me began as a creative expression and curiosity. It was when I first picked up a camera to begin landscape photography in 2017 at 12 years old that I had found the perfect way to express visual creativity and tell stories about the world simultaneously, Ray says. By 2019, Ray's growing curiosity about space led him to explore astrophotography, despite early attempts that he described as, quote, terrible. Over time, these experiments honed both his technical skills and his creative vision, allowing him to merge landscape photography with night sky imagery in unique and compelling ways. Quote, I loved how my camera could reveal more than what my eyes could see, showing something that is real but not visible. My journey has not only developed my creative skills, but heavily developed my communication and philosophical skills, which must exist in order to convey complex insight into whatever my image is trying to display, Ray adds. Photography has thus become, for Ray, not just an art form, but a medium for reflection and connection, shaping both how he observes the world and how he invites others to see it through his lens. Ray's photography is rooted in landscape and night photography with a focus on atmosphere, scale, and the emotional resonance of place. He gravitates towards raw, remote, and otherworldly environments that feel timeless, finding that the night sky in particular allows him to explore these qualities fully. While Ray often visualizes the image he wants before capturing it, he emphasizes the importance of remaining flexible in response to changing conditions. Quote, my photography style is rooted in landscape and night photography with an emphasis on atmosphere, scale, and a strong sense of place. I'm drawn to environments that feel raw, remote, and otherworldly. I find that night images are able to fulfill this. My creative process is influenced by natural light, whether the emotional response a location evokes, often allowing the conditions and the landscape to guide the final image, Ray says. Inspiration comes both from nature itself and the work of other photographers. Ray's approach has evolved, shaped by careful observation of light, atmospheric conditions, and the emotional responses that particular landscapes invoke. This blend of technical precision and creative intuition allows him to capture images that feel both natural and immersive. Quote, I always can visualize an image before I shoot it, but sometimes you have to be adaptable. I have been inspired by so many other photographers and artworks throughout my time photographing the night sky, and my approach and vision has developed so much since I began, Ray says. Ultimately, Ray's creative process is both deliberate and responsive. He allows each environment and moment to guide him, letting technical expertise and intuition work together to achieve images that communicate not just what the eye can see, but what it can feel. For Ray, the most meaningful part of photography comes when light, composition, and timing align perfectly to convey the essence of a place. Capturing a moment that can transport viewers, evoke emotion, is what drives his practice, giving purpose to long nights under the stars and demanding technical challenges. Quote, the most rewarding part of creating an image is when everything aligns light, conditions, composition, and timing to produce a photograph that reflects how a place truly felt in that moment. Knowing that an image can transport someone into that experience or spark curiosity and emotion is what makes the process meaningful for me, Ray says. Whether photographing auroras, glowworms, or the Milky Way, Ray emphasizes the importance of being present in the environment and experiencing it fully. That immersion, he believes, translates into the final image, giving viewers a sense of awe and perspective. Quote, being on scene underneath beautiful night skies, aurora, glowworms, or whatever beauty planet Earth offers is an experience of awe that few others can replicate, Ray adds. These moments of wonder are central to Ray's work, turning technical photography into a profoundly human experience that invites the viewer to share in his encounters with the cosmos. Ray's workflow is meticulous, beginning with research, location scouting, and planning. He studies maps, revisits locations, and uses apps such as PhotoPills and SkyGuide to simulate night sky conditions relative to landscapes. Once in the field, Ray balances precision with adaptability, responding to light, weather, and other variables while capturing the image as he envisioned. Quote, my workflow usually starts with research and location scouting, whether that's in person or studying maps, planning compositions, or revisiting locations multiple times. I use apps like PhotoPills and SkyGuide to simulate the orientation of the night sky, objects relative to the landscape. Once on location, I remain flexible, responding to changing light and conditions, Ray says. Ray's equipment is carefully chosen to meet the challenges of remote and technical photography. He uses full frame and astro modified cameras, wide angle and prime lenses, star trackers, and robust tripods to capture the highest fidelity images of the night sky. For him, gear is a tool to support the vision rather than define it. Quote, I use a deliberate capture process, focusing on getting things right in camera to fulfill my vision. Post-processing is used to refine the image and combine reality with my creative desire for the image, while staying true to the scene and atmosphere I experienced in the field, Ray says. Technical mastery combined with preparation and patience enables Ray to achieve images that are both visually stunning and immersive, reflecting the full scope of the natural environment and sky above. Ray frequently returns to themes of vastness, scale, and the relationship between the night sky and the landscape. He seeks remote deserts, mountains, coastlines, and other dark sky environments, often including a human element to give viewers perspective and immersion. Quote, recently I have been diving into glowworm photography, which is an extremely difficult but rewarding type of imagery. I love displaying a sense of place in these caves and allowing the viewers to feel the experience of being in there, Ray says. Among his proudest works is Skyfire, capturing the Milky Way arching over a rocky Mount Crook during a once-in-a-lifetime geomagnetic storm, including a rare stable aurora red arc. Another is Lightning Lake, where the Milky Way rises over glacial waters illuminated by red air glow, creating a scene Ray describes as otherworldly. Quote, there are a few images and series that stand out to me, particularly those created under challenging conditions or during moments that required patience and persistence. These images often carry a deeper personal connection as they represent not just the final photograph, but the experience and effort behind it, Ray says. Each image reflects both technical skill and the emotional resonance of being present under extraordinary night skies, turning ethereal moments into enduring works of art. Tom Ray's future projects focus on continuing to refine his craft, exploring new locations, and expanding into workshops and educational content. He is committed to sharing the experience of astrophotography, helping others develop their creative vision while inspiring awe and curiosity about the cosmos. Quote, looking ahead, I'm focused on continuing to refine my craft, explore new locations, and push deeper into long-term projects. Helping others to develop their own photography experience, artistic vision, and to experience all that our night sky has to offer is what fulfills me as an educator, Ray says. Through his work, Ray seeks to balance creative experimentation with opportunities for others to engage with photography, combining technical mastery with shared experience. His images and teaching aim to connect people with the universe, revealing the awe and beauty of the natural world and night sky. By capturing light, landscape, and cosmic phenomenon, Tom Ray turns remote wilderness into immersive experiences that inspire curiosity, reflection, and wonder, encouraging all of us to look up and experience the universe anew. And I thought this was a great article. I really love Tom Ray's work. Now, I had not heard of him before, but After looking at some of his images in the parent article from this episode, Petapixel, he does have some absolutely gloriously beautiful images, and I highly recommend you go to the show notes, click on the link for this particular article, and check out his images over at Petapixel. Since 1966, the Leica Noctilux name has reflected the legendary company's best optical achievements. There have been many beloved classic Noctilux lenses over the past 60 years, but until now, not a single one has been a 35mm prime, one of the most traditional focal lengths of all. With the new Noctilux M 35mm f1.2 ASPH, this void has finally been filled. Like all the Noctilux lenses that came before it, the new Noctilux M35 promises to combine a very fast aperture with superior imaging performance. After all, the Noctilux name itself comes from the Latin words noctu and lux, which mean night and light. Leica promises that its new compact fast prime delivers sharp, clear photos with high contrast and a distinctive look. As for the bokeh, the company says it is velvety smooth at f1.2 and performance is consistent across the entire focusing range thanks to a floating element. The lens focuses as close as 0.5 meters or 1.6 feet. This is Leica's first Noctilux lens to feature this extended close focusing capability, as prior models have tapped out at 0.7 meters. Granted, only the new Leica M EV1 camera will be able to take advantage of this new closer focusing distance in all situations, as rangefinder cameras will require live view or the VisoFlex viewfinder to focus closer than 0.7 meters. As for the rest of the optical design, the lens features 10 elements arranged across 5 groups, including 3 aspherical lenses. There is more to this new lens than breaking new focal length ground in the Noctilux family. The lens relies upon a new optical process, precision glass molding, or PGM. This process expands what is optically and mechanically possible per Leica. It delivers aspherical elements with a, quote, unprecedented degree of geometric freedom and surface precision, end quote, enabling Leica's optical engineers to use more complex, precisely manufactured elements than ever before. The new in-house PGM process means sharper lenses with fewer aberrations, improved microcontrast, and natural bokeh, all inside lenses that are physically smaller and lighter. The new spherical molds have tolerances as fine as just 3 nanometers per millimeter of diameter. Quote, a level of precision that translates directly into visible image quality. This combination of optical freedom, extreme surface accuracy, and complete in-house manufacturing control represents a true step change in Leica lens engineering, made in Germany, Leica promises. As for the promise of a smaller, lighter lens with superior image quality, the new Noctilux M 35mm f1.2 ASPH weighs 416 grams or 14.7 ounces and is only 50.2 millimeters or 1.98 inches long. The lens accepts 49mm front filters. For comparison's sake, the Voigtlander Nocton 35mm f1.2 spherical 4 for Leica M is very similar to the new Leica Noctilux in terms of its size and weight. The Nocton is even lighter than the new Leica Noctilux, tipping the scales at just 300 grams or 10.6 ounces, while measuring about 52 millimeters or 2.04 inches long. They are very similar in terms of their size, but not so in price. The Voigtlander Nocton was $1,000, while Leica's new lens is nearly 10 times as pricey. Groundbreaking optical technology rarely comes cheap, and the Leica Noctilux M35 is no exception. The new lens is available now for $9,650 through Leica stores, the Leica online store, and authorized dealers. So it is definitely exciting to see that Leica has finally created a 35mm Noctilux lens. But wow, at a $10,000 price tag for one lens, that's definitely not a lens I'm going to be buying anytime soon. Of course, I'm not a doctor or lawyer, so I can't really afford anything Leica for the most part. Their stuff is beautiful, it's excellent quality, superior engineering, but just way too high of a price tag for my piddly pockets. Remember to check out the Liam Photography Podcast Facebook group. It is a private group, and you must answer a security question to join, which is the name of the host of the show, myself, Liam. And I've also opened it up to allow you to give the name of a previous guest on the show to show that you're a listener. Once you are in the group, you are free to post your own original work. Additionally, I am the admin of the Fujifilm GFX 50R group, which is the largest group for the 50R on Facebook. If you own or plan to own the 50R, you can request to join that group. You can find my work at liamphotography.net and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at liamphotoatl. If you like abandoned buildings and history, you can find my project at forgottenpiecesofgeorgia.com. All right, that's going to wrap up episode 491 of the Liam Photography Podcast. I want to thank all of my listeners once again for subscribing, rating, and reviewing us. If you're not currently a subscriber, why not? It doesn't cost you anything but a second of your time to smash that subscribe button, so do it now, please, as well as sharing the show out on social media and elsewhere with all your photography and cinematography friends and asking them to give it a subscribe and a listen. I also want to remind you to stop by the Liam Photography YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, and I will see you all again next Thursday.